Okay. Go ahead, just clap it up. All right, shalom, Israel, Rakatha to all the brothers, Yao Shema Alatha Ba Hashem Yao Shah to all the sisters. This is the Wednesday night law class. I'm a priest and officer of 50 Maya Shah, coming to you live from Goldsboro, North Carolina, Isupk Goldsboro. You understand? So let's get right in. This being the law class, we're going to be going in on whose law? The Lord's law. You understand? His law being rules that we, his people, the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, are to live by. You understand? We are ordered to live by these rules. You understand? So now I said ordered for a reason. You understand? What are you supposed to do with an order given from someone above you? You understand? And in this case, the Lord, you understand? What are you supposed to do with the order given to you? Go ahead.
You're supposed to carry it out.
Most High in Christ. Just give him a hand. You understand? You are to carry out that order. You understand? And in doing what for the Lord when you're carrying out his orders. You understand? You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Anybody? Go ahead.
Fulfilling.
Not quite. You're right, but I'm looking for a certain word. You understand? When you're carrying out an order, you're doing what for that person who's above you. You know, like I said before, in this case, it's the Lord. What are you doing when you carry out the Lord's order? Go ahead, brother, in the back.
Like you being
Yeah, I said it's you're right, but it's not the word I'm looking for. Specifically, like what we do in the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana. What are we doing that's different from what the Christian church is doing? You understand? They claim to be doing this for the Lord, but they're not. Go ahead, come on, more, Paul.
keeping his law, statutes, and commandments.
Right. By doing that, we're doing what? I'm looking for a specific word here.
Follow.
Okay, for times give it to you, it's serving.
Sir.
You understand? You are serving the Lord, and that's the only way to serve the Lord, by following his rules, his law. You understand? Because what do they say in the Christian church all the time? Oh, I'm serving the Lord. You understand? That's what the Christian pastor says. Oh, I'm serving the Lord by being behind his pulpit in some damn church. Or what does the choir director think they're doing? They think they're serving the Lord by singing them damn songs and filling their arms and doing all that, suspect activity. They think they're serving the Lord too. And what about, those countless people in the front row wearing the big old hats, having them spasms, catching the Holy Ghost? You understand? They think they're serving the Lord too, but they're not following the Lord's law. You understand? They're not doing what you brothers and sisters are doing in the ICPK and the Commander General Yohana. They are not serving the Lord. You understand? Because to serve the Lord is to follow his rules. Oh, let's see the new chair. All right. Yeah, no, the only way to serve the Lord, our power, the most. Now, let me get the book of 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. If I could, you got that? Come on, Paul.
Come, sir.
Go ahead, read.
This is the verse. You said verse 1?
3.
Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse 3.
Right.
For this is the love of God.
You understand? The love of God. Now, Christians claim to know, to have the love for the Lord. You understand? We love God. Praise Jesus. All that good stuff, right? Claim to love God, but right here, the Apostle John is going to explain to you what that. Go ahead, read.
That we keep his commandments.
That we do what?
Keep his commandments.
I do what?
Keep his commandments.
That we keep his commandments. We keep his law. That's how you show the love for the Most High God. You understand? by keeping his commandments. Keep reading.
And his commandments are not grievous.
But doesn't follow his law. You understand? You ask them what love is, right? And then they give you any kind of number of things except keeping his law. Now, if I could, what does grievous mean? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, you get the definition, look it up in your Google machine and stuff. What does grievous mean? And I'll open it up to questions a little bit later, you understand? So,
That's cool.
you know what I'm saying? And that's for those on also. What does grievous mean? He said these commandments are not grievous. So what does that mean?
My battery a little low.
No sweat.
I'm charging my phone back.
It's like Grii, Slovakia, Grievous, grievous. Go ahead, brother.
This is from the Oxford Language Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
It means, this is an adjective that means very severe or serious.
Right. You understand? Bad. What it's saying is this scripture saying the Lord's law is not something so bad, so difficult that you cannot follow it. You understand? Now, it may seem that way to somebody in the world or just coming out of the world, coming into the truth. You understand? You know what I'm saying? They hear you can't eat that shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster and think, life is over, right? But what does a Christian do, man? They hear these rules, these laws, statutes, commandments, and they do what? You understand? They hear that you can't eat shrimp, pork, crab, lobster. You can't be a homosexual. You can't sleep with another man's wife. You can't sleep outside your race. They hear all these rules, these laws in the Old Testament. They hear all these and do what? Go ahead.
Well, like majority of Christians, like they try what I've seen, they try to make excuses. They try to say God loves everybody. God doesn't see race, things of that sort. And they try to use scripture excuses for eating pork. What God made unclean, He made clean, or something to that effect. They'll say use that little scripture, to justify wrongdoing, like nitpick scriptures, like cherry pick scriptures to justify wrongdoing.
Come on, brother. Simply put, they'll find all those reasons, but it says here clearly, here's this law, follow it. This is from the Lord our God. You understand? It's written here for a reason for us to follow it. You understand?
Right.
And like to say, like you said, they like to say, well, the law is done away with, or that Christ did away with it. Say now, going back to what I was saying about these grievous laws or whatever. Now, as time goes by and you're coming out of the world, you're coming into the truth, you start to realize just how true this scripture is, that these laws are really not grievous. Keep them. Understand? It might have been a time when you had to have bacon on every single thing you ate, but you learn that swine is unlawful, and at first kind of stings, but then you go, well, damn, I could go a morning without bacon. You understand? I could have a cheeseburger without bacon on top of it, and I'll eat bacon in like a year. You look up and like, wow, it's been a year, and I had not eaten bacon in a year because it's not as big a deal. It's not grievous to keep that law. You understand? Personally, man, when I was in the world, say I loved my Newports. You understand? I love my Newports and getting tattoos. You understand? But then I heard from one of General Muhammad's classes online and learned how disgusting and wicked I was, right? That I had to stop. I had to quit. You understand? I'm not sure that's happened to a lot of people who've watched General Muhammad's classes. You understand? You see he puts a mirror up to what you do, and you go, well, damn, I don't like that. I don't like that about myself. I got to change. You understand? And then I learned I had to change, right? Because it's not about what I want. It's not about what my Shah wants or the old man wants. It's about what the Lord wants. You understand? That's probably the best thing, hearing the truth. Forget about what you want. It's about what the Lord wants. You understand? And we got a whole book, our records that tell us what the Lord wants. And as we said, what? That law isn't what? No. Law isn't what? What we there you go. It's not hard to do, it's not hard to keep. You understand? But like I said, coming out of that world, moving into the truth, it can seem difficult, but it's not hard. You understand? Pause. Now, you understand? So I quit smoking, and look, hey, I'm still here. It didn't kill me because the Lord's law is not grievous. You understand? People of the world might see some of my tattoos and go, oh, well, when you gonna get them finished, right? And I have to tell them, never. Because it's unlawful to get, cuts in your skin. Basically, that's tattoos. You understand? That's a heathen custom. We're not to keep that. Just like we're not to shave our head bald. You understand? Brother talked about that earlier today and saying not to do that. We're not supposed to keep heathen customs. You understand? That's against the law. You understand? But yeah, it's over for all that. You understand? First chapter 20, verse 13. You understand? You know what I'm saying? But what would happen if I did backslide, right? You know what I'm saying? Or backslid. What is it? Backslid? If I backslid or backslided? What happened, right? And said, maybe I could have one more cigarette now, or maybe I could get this star on my arm colored in or something like that, right? What would happen to me, man? I mean, I heard that I can't I can't smoke. You understand? I stopped smoking, but then that backslide, and I decided, okay, one more cigarette won't hurt. Or maybe the Lord, maybe we'll look away when I get this tattoo finished, this little bit of tattoo I need to get finished. What would happen?
If I may, I would say the Most High will hold you accountable because now you know the Lord. Because it's like your parents, like your mother, father might have taught you, if you know better, you do better.
Right.
So it's kind of like it's the same concept that applies to this. You know the Lord, you know better, you know that that's not right to do, but you go and do it anyway. So now the Most High is going to hold you accountable for that, for the action that you just committed.
So read that out of the scriptures right here. Proverbs 28:13. Basically, it's just said what you just said there. Go ahead.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 13. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper.
Shall not what?
Shall not prosper.
Shall not what?
Shall not prosper.
Shall not prosper. You understand? Cover your sin. Doing it in secret. I say, oh, well, I know I shouldn't have that cigarette, but I'm gonna sneak off over here, say when nobody's looking. Damn, this seat, it's a lot here. I'm gonna duck off when nobody's looking and go and do that anyway, even though I know better. You know what I'm saying? I know the law. You understand? But I do that anyway. What? The Lord is going to punish me. You understand? Prosper. You understand? That'll be the one cigarette that gives me cancer. You understand? Or getting that tattoo. That would be the one tattoo that I go and get with some unsanitized equipment and end up catching AIDS or something. You understand? It'd be that one backsliding, thinking I'm gonna get away with it one more time, and then boom, the Lord's gonna punish you. You understand? You will not prosper. It just said. You understand? That's how. That's now. Salaki, finish out that scripture.
And forsaketh them shall have mercy.
You understand? And that's what happens when you give up those worldly things, that wickedness against the Lord, man. You are shown mercy. You understand? And if it's the Lord's will, understand, like I said, I used to smoke. I used to smoke cigarettes for 16 years, understand? But I didn't catch cancer. But there's plenty of brothers and sisters who are not as fortunate. You understand? They didn't get the Lord's mercy, but I did. So for me to go back to smoking when so many brothers died from it and I was spared from it, that'd be like spitting in the Lord's face right there. You understand?
Right.
And that's why what I would not prosper. That's why the Lord will punish me. You understand? You know, plenty who eat shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster are, you know, sitting in a hospital bed right now. So for you to pick up some shrimp on your plate, you understand? Shoot, again, you'd be spitting in the Lord's face, and you would not be shown his mercy again. You understand? Now, I forgot the scripture, but there is, I mean, if you happen to fall down, forgiveness for you, but it's keep going back and forth. Like you come back to that well, you depending on how righteous you are, maybe that was just a hiccup. But other people, you know, they go back to that well and they keep drawing from that well, and then all of a sudden they're sinning all over again like they're back in the world. And that's what happens, you know what I'm saying? It's best just to leave that behind. That old man is done, you understand? My old sister is done, you understand? So now, Salakia. Now, with all done away with, this, that, and the third, no, it never was. Salakia, brother, let me get book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Understand? Mm-hmm. Salakia, let me get there with you real quick. You understand? Oh, wait. Salakia, drop that. Let's get me the book of Exodus chapter 21. Drop Exodus 21. You know what I'm saying? Exodus 21, Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Following his rules, you understand? Now, what are the Lord's rules? You understand? Lord's rules will be his what? We say this all the time. Go ahead. All three. What is the three we always say?
Law, statutes, and commandments.
Most High Christ. There you go. And all statutes and commandments. Now, in this book, our records, there are over 600 law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? That's over the Old and New Testament. Oh, oh, well, damn. See, brother knew the number. Give him a hand. There's a lot in here. But again, like we said at the beginning, what? These laws are not what? What? In John and 5 and 3, what are these laws? Not
grievous.
There you go. And said, it might sound like a lot, but these are laws that we pretty much can keep, like, you know, in our sleep. These are not keep, you understand?
Right.
Now, real quick, though, I'll briefly explain, though, what are the difference between law, statutes, and commandments, you understand? Just a brief explanation, like I'm just for your edification, you understand? A commandment is what? Anybody want to give a guess? What is a commandment? Go ahead.
A commandment would be like, that's like commanding you to do something, like that's something that's like mandatory. Like it's mandatory for you to do because it's like for your best benefit, in a sense. Like you're getting commanded to do something that's for your own good.
Okay, well, that first part, it's something the Lord ordered you to do. It's a rule that came directly out of the mouth of the Most High God. You understand? You know, say, read what you got there, brother. Book of Exodus, chapter 1. Go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 1.
So like your brother, 20 and 1. Mm-hmm.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And God spake all these words, saying.
That's right. He spake all these words. Like we're going right now, if you didn't know, into the 10 commandments. You understand? These are commandments. These came directly from the Lord. You understand? These are his rules. Keep going.
Verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of that Egypt, out of that house of bondage, that slavery. He saved his people,
Okay.
only his people, the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Keep going.
Have no other gods before me.
And keep going.
Verse 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath.
Drop down to verse 17, brother.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17, the book of Exodus, verse 17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife,
Mm-hmm.
nor his manservant,
Right.
nor his maidservant,
Mm-hmm.
nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that
This is all the 10 commandments. This is it right here. You can read it for yourself, or look it up in your Google machines. But these are commandments. These are laws directly from God. Now, the next thing, laws, statutes, or commandments. A statute would be what? Anybody want to give a guess? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? If a commandment is a law straight from God, you know what I'm saying? A commandment would be what? I mean, a statute would be what? What's like,
Something that set a stone.
What's this?
Something that set a stone. I guess you could say.
Read more. Give me more definitions.
I got you. A statute is a written law passed by a rule or
Go ahead. Keep going.
a rule of an organization or institution.
Well.
Oh, okay. A law or decree made by a sovereign.
Okay, that's close enough. You understand? How the general broke it down was, a statute was something that comes from the one the Lord gave the law to.
Sure.
You understand? They, like, for example, Moses.
Sure.
He gave Moses law, then Moses can establish statutes, laws based on the authority. He make laws that he decides to make, like, for instance, the law of jealousy. You understand? That's from Moses. Or I'm not going to say the bill of divorce. That's not a law from him. You understand? He just did that. Why? Because brothers and sisters, as we were leaving Egypt, fleeing in that desert, getting to a point of hating each other, that he was like, look, just y'all separate here. But that's not a law. That's not a statute he came up with. In fact, that was unlawful and wrong for him to do. But he had to do it in that case because, well, they were going to kill each other. But yeah, like the law of jealousy. There's more. I get into it later, but the statute is basically something that comes from the man who was given the law. So in that instance here, and 10 commandments, stone tablets, Lord gave him the law, and he said, okay, but on top of that, you can't do this, that, and the third. You understand? Those are statutes. Now, what is a law? And a law. What is the law? Go ahead, brother.
I would say a law is something that you must abide by, or like you'll suffer like the penalties or the consequences as a result of not being obedient or abide by that particular law, whatever it is.
No, and I like that last part what you said there. That the punishments, you know what I'm saying? Laws, and that's pretty good, you know what I'm saying? You're right. A law is basically a commandment statute with the judgments for not following those rules. Basically, the judgment that comes with it. You understand? Excuse me. The law is thou shalt not commit adultery. The law in there is Here's what would happen if you committed said adultery. You understand? You would be stoned to death. You understand? Or if you stole from your neighbor, you would have to pay them back seven times what you stole. That's the judgment. You understand? That's the law. What happens if you break these commandments and statutes? You understand?
Right.
So, but with all that, statutes and commandments are. But with all that said and done, basically just obey all of them. Like, people want to get hung up on, okay, well, that's a commandment, or that's a statute, or well, that's just the law. No. All of it you have to follow. You understand? Don't get hung up on, oh, was that statute or was that a law? You have to obey all of it. Christians want to go, oh, well, it says I got to follow commandments, but I ain't got to follow no law. You understand? They'll say that all day. But then, we're going to get into it in a little bit. Christ himself said in Matthew 5:17, he mentioned law and commandment. You can't ignore either one of them. You can't ignore all three of them. Obey these laws, statutes, commandments. How many are them again?
613.
Damn right. Obey them all, and they're not grievous. You understand?
Right.
So now with that said, like I said, that it's important. The law is not done away with. I repeat, not done away with. You understand? So now, brother, let's get the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17.
Mm-hmm. Let's hold up 1 second. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
Think not that I come to destroy the law.
From the top, one more time.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not.
Think what?
Think not.
Think what?
Think not.
Christ said, now hold up. This part is written in red. Am I right? You know what I'm saying? So this means that these are Christ's words. These are not my words, not my brother's words. The ones reading over here is not the ISUPK's words. This is Christ's words written in red. He said, think not. As in, never let your mind go there. Keep reading.
That I come to destroy the law.
That I've come to destroy what?
The law.
The what?
The law.
You understand? The law. You understand? What does that encompass? All these laws, statutes, commandments, man.
That's right.
All of that. You understand? He's not here to destroy that. Instead, keep reading. Keep reading.
Or the prophets.
Or the prophets. That's the men who brought us the law. You understand? Like Moses, the Levitical priests, the prophets like destroy the law, or the men who brought us the law. Keep reading.
I am not come to destroy.
I am not come to destroy. I ain't here to get rid of them. That's not what Christ was sent here for. Instead, what is he here for? Keep reading.
But to fulfill.
But to fulfill. What is it to fulfill? Why is he here? Why he say I'm not here to destroy the law, but I'm here to fulfill the law? What is it to fulfill the law? Good. Read. To complete the law. That's right. To carry it out. You understand? He's here to show us how to keep the law. Because before we didn't know how to keep the law. We didn't know, we heard the law, don't sleep with another man's wife, but we still did it. We didn't have the spirit behind it. And what's that spirit? What's the spirit behind the law that Christ came and showed us? Oh, what was you about to say? There you go. Give him a hand. You understand? Brotherhood. That's the spirit we needed behind it, because we had these rules, but they were still breaking it. They were still breaking it because they didn't care about their brother. But Christ said, you understand? You want to care for your brother. If you care about your brother, you would sleep with his wife. You understand? If you cared about your brother, you wouldn't steal from him. Definitely, if you cared about your brother, you wouldn't kill him. You understand? These laws, require brotherhood, because that's all the law leans upon, brotherhood. That's why, that's why we have the brotherhood class. You understand? Because it's so important, because, that's why the law and brotherhood go hand in hand, because can't have one without the other. You know what I'm saying? That's why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are in the condition they are today, because we don't follow law, and we don't have what? We don't have brotherhood.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
For verily I say unto you.
For verily, verily meaning surely. Surely Christ said, surely. Keep reading.
Till heaven and earth pass.
Till heaven and earth pass. You understand? Is that never? Till heaven and earth pass. Till they are gone and no more. So basically saying forever, keep reading.
One jot or one tittle.
One jot or one tittle. A jot is a dot in the I. The tittle is the cross of a T. You understand? You understand? Keep reading.
Shall in no wise pass from the law.
He said not one thing would be taken from the law. Not a dot or I, the cross, nothing in it is taken away. You can't misread it, reinterpret it, none of that. You understand? Nothing from the law is gone. You understand? Until what? Till heaven and earth pass. That law will never change. You understand? This law in this book would never change. You understand? Keep reading.
To all be fulfilled.
To all be fulfilled. Now, what does it mean? He say there, to all be fulfilled.
All be completed. So all be completed. Like everything.
To all be fulfilled. You mean all completed. What's to be complete? Go ahead.
Black Hispanics and Native Indians coming to the Isupk. They basically carry out the laws just how Christ would have, or did.
I'll take that. Most of it. Give it here. You know what I'm saying? So blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, God's chosen people, the Israelites, come back to these laws, statutes, commandments. You understand? Under one body. Go ahead. What you got? Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, read it.
I just had it.
Take your time.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, and verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
You understand? Who's that nation?
12 tribes, the nation of Israel, the blacks, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right. We are commanded to come together. So the only place you can only come together in one place. It can't be over there in that church or in that mosque. You understand? It can't be in that purple group or that red and white Kennedy King stripe group. It can't be with anybody else but one group. And that's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General Yohanan. You understand?
Right.
That's the only place where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are commanded to come back to. You understand? It's a law. My brother just read that. You understand? It's a law in this book. You understand? Keep going. Well, where are we at? Fifth, Slakia 5 and Matthew chapter 5. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Whosoever, therefore, shall break one of these least commandments.
You understand? The ones who break even the smallest of the laws. You understand? And then there is greater and lesser laws. You understand? That's how it is, you know what I'm saying? But one who would say, "Now, brother, ain't no problem if you had that crab, that lobster." You understand? Someone, you know, that's what the pastor does in the Christian church. Tell you it's okay to do this, tell you it's okay to do that. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Even though there's laws that clearly you can't, you know what I'm saying? Someone who would tell you you can break the least of these commandments. Keep reading.
And shall teach men so.
Like I say, you know, that pastor, you know what I'm saying, that problematic preacher, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones who would teach men so, and even even the people in your family, man. You understand? Who raised you on that Christianity? Your mama, your daddy, your mammy, your pappy, that your pop, your and nana. They raised you on that Christianity. They will tell you, "Oh no, go ahead, baby. There's nothing wrong with that." You know what I'm saying? That pork chop. You know what I'm saying? They'll teach you the wrong thing. Keep reading.
He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
You know what I'm saying? They be called the least in the kingdom of heaven, man. You know what I'm saying? They're, in the kingdom of heaven, here on the earth, for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, in the kingdom of heaven, those people those Israelites, you understand? Those people like the preacher and the pastor and then your grandma, your grandpappy, and all them, those who told you it's okay to break the law, they're going to be the least in the kingdom. They're going to be like a step above a slave. You understand? They're going to be at the bottom.
Right.
You understand? Because for the wickedness they've done, you know what I'm saying? They're not telling the Lord. I would say they're not going along with the Lord's law. They're not following the Lord's law, and for that, they will have to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, now they're going to be slaves in the kingdom, but they'll be a step above a slave, but the least in the kingdom. You understand? Drop that, brother. Let me get the book 17, book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 17, man. I'm going to keep on showing you, man, that the laws are never done away with, man. And if you heard different, then I don't know. I mean, you must be in that wrong place. You got that for brother book of Matthew. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
He said unto him.
Now, who's this speaking? Who's the one who's going to be talking? I believe it's written in red. What does that mean?
Christ.
You know what I'm saying? This is Christ speaking. You understand? K's words, Christ's words. You know what I'm saying? Don't blame me for it. What does he got to say here? Read.
Why callest thou me good?
He said, why call me good, man? Because Christ was the most humble servant of the Lord, you understand? And that's why he's the king of the Israelites, you understand? He was a great servant, you understand? And he had great humility. He said, why callest me good? This is the greatest man that ever walked the face of the planet. Excuse me, why calls me good? Keep going.
There is none good but one.
There's none good but one. Keep going.
That is God.
That is who?
God.
Who?
God.
The Most High. You understand? And no one good except for the Lord. You understand? To make that point. You understand? Keep reading.
But if thou wilt enter into life.
To enter into life. What is he saying? If thou will enter into life. You understand? We all live. You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to enter into life? Go ahead, brother. Kwame Par.
I was enter into life would be like I would say like being like born again in the sense that you like coming to the truth, like you know better. Like
give him a hand. There you go. You understand? Good job. You know what I'm saying? That's entering into life. Because without these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're like the walking dead out here, man. Have you seen the ghettos, barrios, and reservations, man? You understand? We out here doing the absolute worst things to each other. To each other. You know what I'm saying? And we, even though we're alive, we're dead. You understand? We're not thriving. We're barely surviving. You know what I'm saying? We are not alive. And said blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians need to return to this law if we want to what? We want to thrive. We want to turn that hellish condition that we had around. We have to come back to these laws, statutes, commandments, man. You understand? Drop that, brother. Let me get the book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 3. Book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 3.
all
right, give me 1 second. Let me get there with you. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and we only say blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians because this law was only given to who? The Israelites. Most High Christ, you understand? It's only given to the Israelites, you understand? Given to us for what? Why we were given this law, you understand?
We were given this law the come back to like our nature of who we are as like the children of the most, because of the world that we live in, the conditions of our people. Yeah.
Well, there you go with the that last part you said, because we are the children of the Most High.
Children of the Most High.
He chose us.
Chose us, right?
He chose us, so he gave us this law, this most perfect law that if we were to follow this, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we would change our condition overnight. We'd go from worst to first overnight. You understand? No mosque, all that other nonsense. Chematology, what do they call it?
Comedic science and Egyptology.
All that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? You got Hispanic brothers and sisters sitting in the Catholic Church, and then you got the Native Indians in what is those prayer circles or spirit circles? What do they call them?
I know, I can't think of what you're talking about, but I know what you're describing.
You know what I'm saying? But exactly, you know what I'm saying, and I'm sure they know what I'm saying out there too. We join these things and haven't helped our people at all. Over 400 years we've been in America, and it hasn't helped our people at all, not once. You understand? But if we were to come back to this law, statute, commandments, we knew our identity. First of all, we knew our identity. It came back to these law, statute, commandments. Yeah, like I said, man, we could change all that overnight. Go from worst to first. You understand? And it starts with coming back to this law, man. It was never done away with. And the fact that all those other religions, those so-called religions, you know, put us in a you got that for him, brother. Read Book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. I mean, Slakia. Book of 1 John chapter 2 verse 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know him.
All right, now what is Apostle John writing here? We know him. Who's him? Who's the one we're speaking of here?
We're talking about Yahushua.
Mm-hmm. And saying, hereby we do know that we know him. That we know whom mean we follow him. This is how you know someone follows Christ. You understand? And by extension, the Lord. You understand? How? Keep reading.
If we keep his commandments.
If we keep his what? Understand? They keep his commandments, keep his law. You understand? There ain't no other way to show it. Certainly about not being in that Christian church every Sunday. You understand? Or how much money you put in that collection plate, or how many crosses you wear on your neck. This is the only way to show that you know Christ, that you know the Lord, is that if you keep his what?
Commandments.
If you keep his commandments, you keep his law. Ain't no other way to show it. You understand? We could. You don't know God. You understand? That pastor don't know God because he don't keep these commandments. You understand? That choir director don't know God. He don't keep his commandments, all limp wrist and all that. You understand? Drop there, brother. Let me get the book of Romans chapter 6, verse 1. Book of Romans chapter 6, verse 1. Now, we've established that Christ had not done away with the law. You understand? But what's the other thing that Christians always love? Oh, good, brother.
The law's been done away with.
We've established that it's not. Now they like to say something else. You understand? It's starts with a G. They always say, you know, well, yeah, there's the law, but even if I break it, I have. Go ahead, brother. Grace. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro. Raise your hand though. What you got?
So heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I got checks with it, but and said we're not living by the laws, we're living by grace.
Oh yeah, don't they love going there?
Like, Christian, my mom was a Christian pastor, so it's like,
yeah, mine too.
So it's like, yeah, exactly.
I tell you, man, grace. You understand? Man, grace. They think, well, now, first, let's get the definition of grace. What is grace? Understand? They say, you know, I can do whatever I want. I got grace, brother. Grace is the reason I can just, go ahead and, eat shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster all day. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You got two definitions of noun. One is simple elegance or refinement of a movement.
Not that one.
Go ahead. Okay. Courteous, goodwill. Or verb. Okay, you got a verb that says do honor or credit to someone.
Let me help you. Grace is a period. Grace is a set amount of time given to meet an obligation without penalty. You understand? Like, for example, the water company give you a bill, you know what I'm saying, and you don't pay that bill. You understand? They might give you a grace period of that's a grace period. You understand? A brief amount of time to get your S right. You understand?
Right.
So that's grace. Got that for me, brother? Book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 1.
You said the book of Romans, chapter 6 and 1.
That's right. Hold on, let me get there with you. All right. Romans 6 and 1. Go ahead.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 1. What shall we say then?
What shall we say then? Who's speaking here?
That's not written in red in my book.
Right. So it must be what? One of Christ's apostles.
Apostles.
Right. So
it's the apostle Paul.
They are Christ. Give him a hand. That's a good one. All right. It's Apostle Paul, man. One who's helped establish Christ's schools, and it's his first schools. Paul saying, what shall we say then? What are we gonna say? Keep reading.
Shall we continue in sin?
You know what I'm saying? Shall we just keep doing whatever we want to do? That's what Paul's asking the people. He's asking fellow Israelites. What should we say? Just forget the law? Just keep on doing whatever we want to do? Keep going?
That grace may abound.
This is it. That grace may abound. What do you about?
Like continue.
There you go. Christ. Grace, correct. That's that grace will just go on forever. Like I said, what the Christians like to say, oh, I got grace, brother. You know what I'm saying? Christ died. You know what I'm saying? Don't know what, and then what they say? Christ died so you can have endless grace. Do you know how dangerous that is to tell people? You understand? Do you even realize that's how bad the ghettos, barrios, and reservations look? That's because we think we great people that they could do pretty much whatever they want to, as long as they just come to church, maybe feed that pastor a little bit with that in that collection plate. It's dangerous to think that you could do whatever you want. I mean, everybody can make it to this so-called heaven doing whatever you want to do. You understand? Off of grace. And that's what they teach in that Christian church. And it's a very dangerous, and that's why people rob, steal, kill each other. Fellow brothers and sisters rob, steal, and kill each other in the ghettos, barriers, reservations because of grace. Drop down to verse 15.
Verse 15. What then shall we say? Because we are not under the law, but under grace.
There you go. And that's what said. That's what the Christians say all the time. You understand?
This is the book of Romans, chapter 6 and verse 15. What then shall we sin? Because we are not under the law, but under grace.
Stop right there. That's what the Christians say all the time. You know what I'm saying? We can sin all the time. I mean, a sin ain't nothing because you're under grace. That's what time you can do whatever you want. Just ask the Lord for forgiveness, pray on it. You know what I'm saying? But what did Paul say? Keep going.
God forbid.
God forbid, as in don't even think that's something you could do. You know what I'm saying? Grace is not a golden pass to do whatever you like. And why we even have the Old Testament if the law was done away with and it meant nothing? What is just good to read this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Is it just good to have, good to know? You know what I'm saying? As a history lesson? No, it means something. The law's never done away with. Christ never did away with it. And just because you think you have all the time in the world to get right, you know what I'm saying? You think you could just ignore the law when in fact, no. There's no unlimited grace. There's no golden ticket. Drop that, brother. Let me get the book of First John chapter. No, yeah, book of First 3 verse. Book of First John chapter 3 verse 4. Get there with you. Okay. Go ahead, read it when you got it.
First John 3, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of First John, chapter 3, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Now, what is a transgression? Look that up real quick. Unless you know, I mean, what is a transgression? You understand? A transgression is an act that goes against the law. You understand? It's an act, you know what I'm saying? You have to do. Now, some people, some Christians will go and say, well, just on top, that's why I'm emphasizing the word act. It's something you do. You understand? Because some Christians will say, oh, just thinking an evil thing is a sin. When clearly right here, a transgression is an act. It's something you have to do. You understand? Yeah, okay. Now to break God's law. You understand? Keep reading.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
You understand? That's what I just said there. You know, when you sin, you break God's law, man. When you break America's laws, you get punished. Now, what? Go ahead. There you go. That might not happen the very instant you do it. You know what I'm saying? Not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, the next month, next year. You understand? You're not, like I said, like we brought in the last scripture, you're not under grace forever. You understand? And you will get punished for what you do against the Lord's. You break His law when you transgress against God's law. You understand? And that's what happened. That's why Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are in the condition we are in today, man. We were given God's law, we broke it, and now we're at the bottom, destroyed. You understand? But I can tell you why you have a shot for the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohanan. You see, that's the only way we're going to rise above, that we're going to get out of this hellish condition, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Now, let me get the book of 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 37. That's going to be in the Apocrypha.
You said 2 Maccabees 6 and 37?
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Let me get there with you. 2 Mac.
I got it.
All right, 1 second. Okay. Because we're about to get, I'm gonna get us into a story of a righteous Israelite woman and her sons who refused to break God's law, man, who refused to just do as the oppressor wanted to do. You understand? Because that's the crux of all these transgressions, really, that we have against the Lord. We rather do as the oppressor do, or do as the heathen do, instead of do as the Lord wants us to do. I don't know what it is, but it's so tempting what they're doing over there. And our people, for some reason, just want to do it. When we want to celebrate Christmas, we want to celebrate New Year's Eve and all that other nonsense. Go ahead, brother. You got Go ahead, brother.
Piggyback on what you just made.
Mm-hmm.
It's because like America like pretty much gives the okay for us to be like reprobate minds, like we conform against what we know in our integrity is right to do by keeping these laws. In this kingdom, they make it seem like it's okay for us to do. So
Right.
A lot of us compromise and conform to worldly desires and social norms of this world.
Absolutely.
So that be in the world, exist in the world, but not be of the world. Don't take part in Christmas and New Year's and heathen customs and religions and things of that sort.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Probably a great point. You know what I'm saying? It's easy here in America. And that's basically what sin is. It's just, the easy way. And that easy way looks absolutely tempting. That's why brothers want to do whatever that heathen does. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to go to go celebrate Easter, you know what I'm saying, and then go to church, say hallelujah, then actually come in and learn these laws, statutes, commandments, and try to keep them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Way easy to do all that. But that's what I'm saying. Like here, we have an example of a sister and her sons who wouldn't back down, who refused to break the Lord's law, man. You understand? Because these laws are not what? Again, these laws are not what?
Grievous.
They're not grievous. They're hard to keep, you understand? But there may be a time when you will be tested. You understand? And here's an example of what you should do. An example for all brothers and sisters, what we should do when, tested on keeping the Lord's law. Go ahead. You got that for brother?
2 Maccabees 6 and 27.
6:37, brother.
37?
Mm-hmm.
You sure? There's no 37.
Like it. Is it second Maccabees or first Maccabees?
It might be first.
Oh my God. So now I thought I had it written down right.
Yeah, there's a 37 in first Maccabees 6.
Okay. What you brother? Yeah, if you got a brother, read it. 7. Yeah, 7. My bad. Yeah.
Verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to take swine's flesh.
You know what I'm saying? Now see, compelled by the king, the ruler of this nation right here now, in this time, our people were in the Grecian Empire, the Greeks, you understand? And the leader, their king, like, today would be our president, you understand? This leader of this nation, you understand, compelled them to break the law. He said against the law, you understand? To take swine, understand? Keep reading.
And were tormented with scourges and whips.
Tormented with scourges and whips, just for not eating pork. You understand? Think about this next time when you're tempted to smoke that weed or what else? Oh, have that. What did y'all do this past? You Christians, you celebrated that Christmas. Think about that time when you with that Christmas goose or whatever the hell they eating now. You know, saying some turkey or that ham. You understand? How hard it is for you to resist that when these Israelites, these brothers and their mother were whipped and scourged, just to take a nibble of some swine. You understand? Think about that. Read.
Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die.
We are what?
We are ready to die.
We are what?
We are ready to die.
We are ready to die. They're ready to die rather than break the Lord's law. And that's how blacks need to look at these laws as something so important that you would not give them up for anything, not even their own life, man. You know what I'm saying? You no pork or the shrimp or date a white woman. You wouldn't do any of these things for the obedience of the Lord, for your love of the Lord, because what is the love of the Lord? Go ahead. Keeping his commandments. That's how you show you love the Lord. You understand? More than you love yourself right here. These brothers and sisters, these brothers and their mother showed that. They love the Lord more than themselves. Keep going.
rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
Rather than to break the laws that were passed down to us. You understand? These laws that were passed down to them from generation to generation, these law commandments. We lost that along the way. We lost that along the way, and that's why we're broken today, because we don't have them no more. But that's why we come back and that's why we come into these schools in the Isupk, you understand, to learn these things that we used to have, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This used to be our culture. This is something that we used to pass down to each other.
Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot.
Now he couldn't believe it that these brothers and their mother wouldn't just take a little bit of swine. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you just do like everybody else does? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you conform? You know what I'm saying? Their refusal to do as he commanded, because he's a king, remember, dominion over everything in his kingdom. But here's these brothers and their mother who would rather follow after the Lord than after some man. You understand? Who's commanding them to do something that would be against their Lord. You understand? Keep reading. He said, I'm get some pans and cauldrons made hot. I'm gonna boil them alive. I'm gonna do torturous things to them. Keep reading.
Which forthwith, being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first.
Good night. He got his tongue cut out for just saying something against this man. Again, remember, all this is about a little bit of pork. Keep reading.
And to cut off the utmost parts of his body.
Ooh, the utmost part of his body is his appendages, like fingers and toes, and oof. I hope not the other thing either, but you know, sheesh. Keep reading.
The rest of his brother and his mother looked
cut up, dismembered, right there in front of your family. They have to watch this. Remember, the king is making a spectacle out of this to show the other Israelites. You better stay in line. You understand? You better do as we tell you to do. You understand? Or else this will happen to you. You understand? But here's a righteous brothers and their mother saying, "Now you do whatever you want to do to us, but we're going to obey the Lord." Keep reading.
Verse 5. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire.
Still alive, lost appendages. And now what? He's going to further torture him? He said, bring him to the fire. Good night. Keep reading.
And to be fried in the pan.
Come on, man. Over a little bit of pork? You cut off all my appendages. Now you're about to put me in the fire to be fried. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. I tell you, stories like this, man. Keep going.
So, and there's the vapor that was dispersed. They exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus.
As that was going on, they held strong. They were exhorting each other. What is it to exhort?
You said exhorted one
another? They exhorted one another. What is it to exhort? You know what I'm saying? This is happening right there. The other brothers and their mother exhorted one another to say, to die manfully. Mean, stand up.
To stand up.
Go ahead, bro. They encouraged one another. Like, yo, we ain't bringing these laws for nothing. They can heat up their pan. We see the vapors coming up from this pan. We know what's about to happen, but we ain't breaking this law for nothing. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 6. Lord God, looketh upon us.
The Lord is watching. You understand? The world's watching to see what you do. This is a test from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's a brutal one. But this is from the Lord, you understand? To watch, he's watching, looking upon you. Keep reading.
And in truth, have comfort in us.
You understand? Have comfort in us. You understand? That here's some righteous sons of Israel. You understand? It's some righteous children. You know what I'm saying? Gonna keep his law. You know what I'm saying? He wants to see if you're gonna keep his law in something so extreme. Good night. Keep reading.
And in truth have comforted us,
Mm-hmm.
as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants.
He'll be confident in his service, man. He'll be confident to know that here's some blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, some Israelites who will keep his law. You understand? And this in human nature. You imagine. Good night. All that about to happen to you. He's got his members cut off. They've been whipped and scourged, which to be in the cut of your skin. You know what I'm saying? And now threatening to be thrown in a frying pan. But to keep the Lord's law and all of that, the Lord is comforted by that. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
So when the first was dead after this manner,
Mm-hmm.
they brought the second to make him a mocking stock.
Good night. So they killed the first one, and then they brought the second one and said, and now they're mocking him, they're laughing at him. You understand? Keep reading.
And when they had pulled off the skin of his head,
Good night. They scalped the brother for a little bit of pork. You know what I'm saying? Isn't it easier just to eat a little bit of pork? You know what I'm saying? But the Lord is confident in these brothers and sisters. Why? Because in the face of man, keep going.
with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body?
Man, come on, man. Why don't you just take a little bite, man? We don't want to keep doing this, man. Don't you want this to stop? Just nibble at this gristle, man. That's just a little bit of gristle that hair, man. That's what the oppressor says to us today, isn't it? You understand? I mean, come on, man. It's just pepperoni pizza. God ain't mad at that. What do Christian pastors say? Oh yeah, there's no wrong with that little bit of pork. You understand? Because they're following after who? The oppressor. They're doing as he will. You know what I'm saying? And her 7 sons. Could you imagine? The rest of them are doing like the kingdom wants them to do. They're following after what the oppressor wants them to do. You understand? But here's these 7 brothers and their mother saying, nah, you understand? But everybody else is following along with that peer pressure. Keep reading.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
But he answered in his own language.
He answered in his own language. You understand? He refused to speak. You understand? He said in Hebrew, what?
And said, no, wherefore he also received the next torment in order, as the former did.
Let's go back to that. He said in his own language, what?
No.
La. That's right. He said la. And what happened?
Wherefore he also received the next torment in order, as the former did.
Yeah, he got all the members cut off. Now he already been scalped, but then he got his members cut off and then thrown in the fire like the first one. Good night. Oh, geez. Just for not eating that swine, man. And refusing to break the Lord's law. Keep reading.
Verse 9. And when he said, thou, like a fury, takest us out of this present life.
Take us out of this present life. You know what I'm saying? He's basically giving a prayer to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? He's taking out of this present life. Take out of this oppression, man. You know what I'm saying? For his people, take us out of this oppression. Keep reading.
But the king of the world shall raise us up.
The king of the world raises us up. You understand? He's speaking about, he's speaking about Christ, but not about Christ right now because Christ ain't even here yet. But he's speaking of king for the Israelites. Keep going.
Who have died for his laws
Mm-hmm.
unto everlasting life.
Unto everlasting life. A man who will sacrifice his life for us. You understand? For everlasting life. You understand? That's going to be that kingdom of heaven. You understand? Right. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 10. After him was the third made a mocking stock.
It kept right down the line. They refused to eat that pork, and then they got tortured. They basically got tortured. Oh, one by one. Keep reading.
And when he was required put his tongue,
And this one said, I already know the deal. Here, take it. Boom. Keep going.
and that right soon, holding forth his hand manfully.
He said, just go ahead. Here, there's a tongue. Pause. Here's my hands. Go ahead, just cut it all off. You understand? Because I'm not going to do what you want me to do, oppressor. Keep reading.
Verse 11. And said courageously, these I have from heaven,
Uh-huh.
and for his laws I despise them.
You understand? These I got from heaven. This is what I got from the Lord. This is the Lord who gave me this body. You understand? That's what he's saying there. And for his laws, I despise them. What is he saying there? Go ahead, brother.
Pretty much in the sense like he's like sacrifice, like pretty much like he's not gonna rebel against the law of the Most High just to do what he wants to do. Pretty much like to break the law.
I'll take that.
He's gonna keep the law of the Most High instead of going against what he knows is righteous to do.
I take that, you know what I'm saying? He's saying, you know, forget these hands. I don't need these hands. I'd rather keep the law. It's more important that I keep the law than keep my hands, my appendages. You understand?
Right.
Keep going.
And from him I hope to receive them again.
Yes, I hope to receive them again. Now, what is he saying there? Go ahead.
Basically, if he loses his hand, he know that God will bring him back to him.
Damn right. What they call reincarnation or regeneration. We come back. You know what I'm saying? He said, I don't need these. I'm going to get a new set when I come back to the earth. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 12. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him.
It was astounding. I mean, you going to let all this happen to you just for a little bit of pork? It's amazing. I'm astounded. I mean, geez, the torture he went through. You pray that you have that kind of courage in that day should something like this happen. My God. Yeah, they marveled at that courage because it was unheard of. Everybody else fell in line, but these brothers and their mother did not. You understand? Keep reading.
For that he nothing regarded the pains.
He took it like a G. That's what it's saying there. It didn't. He didn't cry out in pain when he got whipped and scourged. He didn't whine and cry when his appendages got cut off or got scalped or it took his tongue out. You understand? He handled that shit like.
They tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner.
You understand? They, like I said, they kept going down the line. You understand? Because these men would not break God's law. They all had to be tortured and murdered. Keep reading.
Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from God to be raised up again by him.
You understand? So his last words, he's saying, man, I'd rather say it's an honor to die like this for the Lord because the Lord is going to raise me up again. Why? You know what I'm saying? He raises up all of us, but for keeping the Lord's law, you'll be rewarded for that. You understand? He knows that. They know that by keeping God's law, you get a favorable result in the next life. You understand? That regeneration. You understand? It's an honor to follow God, die for it. You understand? Keep reading.
As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life.
You understand? Now, we know everybody gets resurrected, but he said, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. What is he kind of saying to this tormentor, his cat?
Not get resurrected.
No. Everybody gets resurrected. You know what I'm saying? Trees come back, animals come back, everybody comes back. He's saying, because like I said, he's gonna get rewarded for keeping God's law, dying and coming back. This man, go ahead. Well, yeah, he'll be even less than least because he's not
less. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he'll be even less because he's not an Israelite. This man who's tormented, this is a heathen.
Oh,
He-
right.
You know what I'm saying? You
Like,
should have no
he's gonna
rejection.
rule. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna rule.
The Israelite will rule. He will come back to a punishment.
A punishment, right?
You know what I'm saying? He will not live like living. Like living is more than just breathing, walking the earth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we explained in the just read. Good night. Remember, you have to find it. About us, we'll come back to it. But basically, no resurrection of life, meaning he's not a good life. He's going to be punished in that next one. You understand? Keep reading.
Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him.
And mangled him. They tortured that brother too. The fifth one. Keep going.
Verse 16. Then looked he unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible.
You just a regular man. You are wrong. You are wicked. Keep going.
Thou doest what thou wilt.
You do whatever you want to do. You don't follow any kind of law but your own. You make the law. Keep reading.
Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God.
But don't think that the Israelites are forsaken by the Lord. You understand? Why? Because we are his children. We are the chosen people. All Indians, man. We were not forsaken by God, man. And these people, these brothers and this sister, their mother knew that, man. Keep reading.
Verse 17. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed.
See, that's what I'm saying right there before when we was talking about they will have no resurrection of life. Him and his seed, they will be tormented. They will get a punishment. They will receive that punishment for what they've done to Hispanics and Native Indians, not for the hundreds of years, but for thousands of years of what they've done to us. They will get their punishment. Barakatah Yahweh Shah, man, they will get their punishment, man. That's why we're here. We want the kingdom and justice. And that's what this brother said right here, man. You will, what did he say? Read that again. How he will, what? Verse 7.
But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed.
The Lord is going to punish you. We ain't got to do a damn thing. The Lord will punish them for what they've done to his children, man. And that's what this brother said right there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how they have resurrection. They're going to be punished, man. They're going to be slaves. Slaves in the kingdom. Keep reading.
Verse 18. After him also they brought the six.
That's right.
Who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be deceived without cause. You understand? Don't think we're just being rebellious for nothing. You understand? There's a reason why we're not eating that pork. You understand? Keep reading.
For we suffer these things ourselves.
We're going through this torture. You understand? Keep going.
Having sinned against our God.
Right. Because that's how we ended up in Greek captivity. We sinned from the Lord, and then we ended up in Greek captivity, man. That's how we end up in all these captivities. You know what I'm saying? We have sinned against the Lord. You understand? But he's saying all that to say this. Read.
Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us.
You know what I'm saying? Therefore, these things are done unto us. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're being punished, because we disobeyed the Lord. Keep reading.
But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
Now, just because you were put in charge, that you were given this power over, don't Lord, but you do all these unrighteous, evil, wicked things to us, don't think that you're going to escape some kind of punishment for these things you've done to the Lord's children. Yes, we are being punished, just like we're being punished here in America, how we've been punished, through that transatlantic slave trade, you understand? Or what they did to the Native American Indians, that Trail of Tears, Hispanic brothers and sisters on them islands and in South America and all that. Just because you done all that, because the Lord put us there for our punishment, they went and took it too far. They were wicked bastards, and they will pay for it. You understand? You will not escape unpunished. And that's what this brother said right here, man. Don't think you're gonna get away with this. Don't think you're gonna torture all 6 of us and our mother and think you're gonna get away with it. Keep reading.
Verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
But the mother was marvelous above all.
But the mother was marvelous above all. These 7 brothers, these 6, 7 brothers, Scott's like these 6, 7 brothers, you know what I'm saying? Although what they did was brave and magnificent, up against all that, taking it like men, you understand? The mother was marvelous above all. Keep reading. Let's see why.
And worthy of honorable memory.
That's right. Because we don't know her name, but we remember her deed right here. Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 20. You know what I'm saying? We still know this.
For when he saw her son slain.
Her 7 sons, each one. She gave birth to these babies. Each one labored for hours, I'm sure. You understand? She watched each one of them die. Now, I'm not a parent, but I know a parent to see their child die. Just, yeah, I can't even imagine it. You understand that? That's right. You know what I'm saying? That's something. I mean, you shouldn't outlive your children. But she saw each one of her sons slain. Keep reading.
Within the space of one day.
All in one day. Good night. One fell swoop. Keep reading.
She bare it with a good courage.
She bare it with what?
A good courage.
She bare it with what?
A good courage.
She bare it with a good courage. She a baby. You know what I'm saying? For what? For not eating that pork, for keeping God's law, she kept a good courage. She ain't whine, scream, my babies. She didn't plead, beg for their lives. She kept a good courage. She probably looking stone faced like, yeah, do that.
The Lord.
Because of the hope she had in the Lord, for the faith she had for the Lord, for keeping the Lord's commandments, his laws, statutes, commandments. You know what I'm saying? That hope of the Lord, man. That's why she bare with good courage. That's why she didn't say a damn thing when her sons were getting murdered, tortured, then murdered one by one. Keep reading.
Verse 21.
Yea,
she extorted.
She exhorted.
She exhorted. She exhorted every one of them.
She exhorted every one of them. Exhorted, we learn, meant encouraged. She encouraged each and every one of them. Keep reading.
In her own language.
In her own language. In the slave language that everyone could understand, that Grecian, you understand? She said in Hebrew, stay strong. Keep reading.
Filled with courageous spirits.
Filled with courageous spirits. You understand? Stand chair. Slack it. That out knitting. All right. She exhorted each one, slack it, bearing with good courage because of the hope she had in the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? That faith that keep reading.
And stirring up her woman's thoughts with a manly stomach.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, these are her children. This is happening to each and every last one of them. They get murdered and tortured, then murdered. So naturally, she's not some robot. You know what I'm saying? She ain't some alien. Of course, she's having feelings in her head going, oh, God, how could they do that to my baby? I raised each and every last one of these to manhood, I'm assuming. Understand? So as this is happening to her, of course she's going crazy in the head, but it said what? She kept a what? Or stirring up a woman's thoughts with?
A manly stomach.
A manly stomach, meaning she held strong like a man. As that was happening to her children. You understand? You know what I'm saying? As though she's basically on the war with herself right there in her head. Like, yeah, she should be bugging out. Her children are getting murdered, tortured and murdered right here in front of her. She should be bugging out, but she kept stone-faced. ice cold grill, just and exhorting, encouraging her children while this is happening to them. She's going against her natural woman instinct to fall apart and drop, instead holding together like a man. You know what I'm saying? This is a hell of a sister here. Keep reading.
She said it to them.
Uh,
I cannot tell how ye came into my womb.
Yeah, pregnancy is a wonderful thing. It's a miracle. She don't know how it happened. Keep reading.
For I neither gave you breath nor life.
You understand? She ain't God. She ain't giving them life. She held them in a womb, in her stomach. She ain't give them life. Keep reading.
Neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you.
She didn't do all that. Again, she held that baby in her womb, but she didn't do all these amazing.
The creator of the world,
The Most High God.
who formed the generation of man and found out the beginnings of all things,
The Alpha and Omega, the one true, the only power. Keep reading.
will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again.
Because resurrection, you understand, that regeneration, she knows they will come back. You understand? It will be back on the earth again, because she, like we understood before, we knew that this wasn't the only life, that we come back, that we here before and we will come back again. Keep reading.
Now, your own self for his law's sake.
You understand? You're not folding for your life. You're not folding on this law for your life. You understand? You are keeping it, you're holding together for the Lord's sake. And that's what all of us, each Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian is supposed to do. You understand? And for doing that, you will get that everlasting life, that reward in the next one. Keep going. Now, Antiochus is the king, you understand, of the Greeks at this time. He's the one putting them through these tortures. You understand? Keep reading.
Thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech.
You understand? Now he's like, okay, again, remember, she's saying all this in her native self. She's speaking Hebrew, saying all these things. You understand? And the other Israelites are hearing it. Now he's going, well, that don't sound right. The crowd's getting all worked up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They might have some thoughts of rebellion in their head hearing all this. Keep reading.
Philip, the youngest, was yet alive. Did not only exhort him, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man if he would turn.
Now he's coming to the last one like, okay, well, if I kill one more of these, I could have me outright rebellion. They're seeing this happen to a brother, a fellow Israelite. They're seeing all these murders, these tortures and murders happening to him one by one for not following, for not breaking. He's thinking, okay, well, maybe I could tempt the last one, the youngest one. Maybe I could get him to eat the pork. And if he does that, I can make him a friend. I can make him a top advisor. I can make him a rich man. You understand? He'll surely take that and eat the pork.
But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him.
You understand? He said, man, come on now. You killed my 6 brothers, and this family follows the law. I'm not going to just turn around and whatever you want me to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to ignore what they just did. You understand? I'm gonna keep the Lord's law too. That's what we're supposed to do. Read.
The king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life.
They say, hey, look, can you talk to your son? Just show him the right way. Like, just could you make him see the light? Like, come on. I don't want to have to kill this brother. You understand? I don't want to, no, not this brother. I don't want to have to kill this man. You understand? Make him see. see the error of his ways. Read.
Verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had exhorted her with many words.
Oh yeah, he was just, oh please, yeah. I see y'all strong. I see y'all have a great faith in the Lord. I see in your power, in your God, you understand? And I see the courage of your people, you understand? I know y'all are very, what's the word I'm looking for someone who's into someone who keeps faith. What's the word for that? There's a word I'm looking for. I can't.
Someone that keeps faith.
Yeah, someone who's stalwart in faith. Yeah, very zealous. There you go. For water, brother. You know what I'm saying? You're zealous. I see your zeal for the Lord, for your God. You understand? It's very admirable. Keep reading. You know where he left off at?
I think the part where he said 26 when he said counsel her son.
Keep reading.
Verse 27. But she bowing herself toward him, having the cruel tyrant to scorn.
Read that again.
Laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn.
One more time.
Laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn.
You know what I'm saying? She heard all that and laughed in his face like an evil cackle, like, oh, how dare you? Like just one of those laughs that, yeah, I can't believe you would say this. You understand? Just a throaty, hearty, cackly laugh. Just, you know, she laughed at him so much that he came to scorn. He became angry at that. You understand? He heard that and was like, okay, now she ain't trying to play ball. So, you know what I'm saying? He lost own language. Like he didn't understand what she's saying. But yeah, from her laugh, he knew, oh yeah, she's not rolling either. Keep reading.
On this manner, oh my son,
Mm-hmm.
have pity upon me, that there be 9 months in my womb.
She tell him now she's going, son, forgive me, even though you know I held you in my womb for 9 months. Keep reading.
That there thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years.
Such 3 years. Gave these such 3 years. Do you see what it's saying right there?
Right.
That youngest boy, her youngest boy, is 3 years old. You understand? He is 3 years old and holding his water. He said, I'm not going to lay down and acquiesce to what the king wants. And he heard what the king offered too. He's 3 years old, but he understood what the king is offering. Money, riches, glory, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? High station and all that. But this little 3-year-old heard all that and still refused to roll. You understand? And here this mother is trying to explain to her son, I'm sorry, but this is basically how it's going to go. Keep reading.
And nourished thee.
And
brought thee up unto this age,
and
endured the troubles of education.
Keep going.
Verse 28. My son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein.
That's right.
And consider that God made them of things that were not.
You know what I'm saying? She said, look what God there before, but he made possible. You understand? The of all showing, just telling how powerful the Lord is. Like, here's the man who created it all, the Alpha and Omega, you know what I'm saying, done all this. Behold his wonder. Keep reading.
And so was mankind made likewise.
That's right. We were made in his image, how the Lord wanted us to be. Keep reading.
Verse 29.
Fear
not this tormentor.
You understand? Fear not what?
This tormentor.
Fear not what?
This tormentor.
Don't be afraid of him. You understand? The Lord created all this and man too. Don't be afraid of this man. You understand? Keep reading.
But being worthy of thy brethren.
Being worthy to be the brother. You understand? To be the one who would
happen upon this punishment, just like they did, be proud to walk in their step, to do as they understand. She's telling this all to this 3-year-old. Do you believe that? You understand? She's telling him, stay strong too. Keep reading.
Take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
Good night. Take thy death. Imagine telling that to a 3-year-old. She said, take thy death. Your death is coming. Because you disobeying this king, he's gonna put him to death. A little 3-year-old, but not eating pork. But take this death in honor because you will be brought back again. You understand? And that's one of the most important things that we need to know, that resurrection. This ain't it right here. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 30. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait?
Why she was, it's like, read it from the top again.
Kanukan. This is verse 30.
Uh-huh.
While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for?
Good night. Okay. See what he said? Like, what are we waiting for? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. 3-year-old about it. He said, I will not follow his commandment. I will not do what he orders me to do. Little 3-year-old Israelite boy, man. I mean, shoot, you see it today. I don't know if you've seen these little young children out here, man. Today got more heart than grown men sometimes. And this keep reading.
But I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses.
There it is. I'm gonna keep the law. Little 3-year-old Israelite boy said, I'm going to keep the law of our fathers. I'm gonna keep the law of our people, of our Lord. You understand? Man, what are we waiting for? Let's get this over with. He's ready to go. That's unbelievable. That kind of spirit needs to be in the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It need to be in Israel right here. This do or die for the Lord spirit needs to be in Israel. You understand? And that's what we're trying to bring back in the Israelite School of Universal Practice. Man, in General Yohanan, man. Keep going.
Verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And thou that has been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews.
And saying, now, who is the author of the mischief against the Hebrews, man? You understand? Now, the Lord put us in our captivity, but who's the author of all that? Who's the one putting us through all these things, man? Damn right, man. Give that a hand, man. That's the author of all this oppression. Good to never forget that, man. Never forget that. You understand? Don't ever go pause soft on them. You understand? They're the ones, the authors of this suffering, this torture, this evil we're going through, man. This mischief. What?
Escape the hands of God.
Shall not what?
Escape the hands of God.
They will get their punishment. You understand? They will get theirs. It's coming. You understand? Just focus on keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, man. You understand? Doing the Lord's law, serving the Lord. Focus on serving the Lord, and their time will come. Escape them. Keep reading.
For we suffer because of our sins.
And that's why we're here in this condition we're in, because we're suffering from our sins. You understand? You got something for brother? You look like you got a precept or something. I don't know. Okay, all right. This brother here, man. Keep reading.
And though the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastening, correction.
You understand? Yeah, we get punished from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's why bad things happen, because you break his laws. You understand? We are, read that again. We are chastised and
he be at one again with his servants.
You know what I'm saying? So he be one again with his servants, man. I mean, if we come back to these all statutes and commandments, man, be right back with him. You understand? Then the Lord will be on your side. The Lord ain't on your side if you're not following his laws, statutes, commandments. If you ain't following his rules, then why is the Lord gonna help you? You understand? So you get punished for not following, and you reward you. The Lord is with you when you follow his rules, his law, statutes, commandments. That's how important the law is. That's why Wednesday night law class is so important. You understand? You know, to know the Lord is with you if you what? If you follow the law. And he is not with you if you don't follow the law. The law has never been done away with. That's what we've been going into earlier. Keep going, brother.
But thou, O godless man,
Oh, godless man, that heathen. That heathen serves no power. You know who the oppressor's power is? Wild guess. Go ahead. Who's the oppressor's power? Go ahead.
in this world,
For time's sake, himself. He don't worship nobody. He don't follow the Lord. He don't follow the Most High God. That his power is himself. You understand? Oh, godless man. That's why the brothers. That's why that Salakia. That's why the sister said it. Oh, godless man. You understand? Keep reading.
and of all other most wicked.
Of all other most wicked. You know he's talking about the oppressor here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no one more wicked than the oppressor. You understand? And she understood that here. Keep reading.
Be not lifted up without a cause,
Mm-hmm.
nor puffed up with uncertain hopes,
You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
lifting up thy hand against the servants of God.
And stood up without a cause. You understand? Or lifted up without a cause. What is he saying there? You're not lifted up without a cause. What is a cause? Look at it. Lift up without a cause.
You said without a cause?
Yeah, what does he say? Be not lifted up without a cause. You know what Tom said? He just said, have a reason to, yeah, have a reason to move. You understand? Keep going. He said, not puffed up with uncertain hopes. You understand? Not proud. Puffed up is to be proud. Don't be proud with uncertainty of what will happen later, the hopes. You know what I'm saying? And lifted up thy hand against the servants of God. See, you're doing all this without a reason. You know, puffed up above, you know what I'm saying? But you're lifting, that's because you're lifting up the hand against the servants of God, because you're hurting the Lord's people. So you're puffed up, you understand? You think you're better, and that's how they are here in America, right? That's how the oppressor is here. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know what I'm saying? They have us in oppression, so they're puffed up. You know what I'm saying? That's how the white man is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it, that's how the oppressor is. You know what I mean? They puffed up because we're
Verse 35.
uh-huh.
For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God.
Most High Christ. They have not escaped the Lord's punishment. They think they have, right? Having that Space Force, and look at America, you know what I'm saying? Still thriving. You know what I'm saying? On what happened to the Greek Empire? It fell. Just like the Roman Empire fell. Just like America will fall. You understand?
That's right.
It's coming soon. Keep reading.
Who seeth all things.
That almighty power. Keep going.
Verse 36. For our brethren
Uh-huh.
who now have suffered, Slacky, a short pain.
That's right. Our brother, do this torture. It's short torture. You know what I'm saying? Remember, this all happened in the span of a day. You understand? One after the other, after the other. I understand? I'm sure it didn't seem like, you know what I'm saying, like that when it was happening to him. But it was a short pain. Keep reading.
Or dead under God's covenant of everlasting life.
You know what I'm saying? Now, why are they dead under God's covenant of everlasting life? Because they followed his law. The next life. You understand? Keep reading.
but thou through the judgment of God
From the judgment of God. This judgment from the Lord will be a punishment from the Lord. Keep reading.
shalt receive just punishment for thy pride.
Ooh-wee. That oppressor, also ever so proud, always so proud, they're going to get a punishment for their pride. You understand? That oppressor who's so proud thinks they just, like I said, a godless man, believe in themselves. You understand? They will get that punishment from the Lord for their pride. You understand? I'll keep reading.
Verse 37.
Uh-huh.
But I, as my brethren,
And let me just again point out, this is a 3-year-old.
right,
This is a young brother going saying all these things. I asked my brother like they did. Keep reading.
offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers.
You know what I'm saying? Was I will not give up the law as my brothers did for this law, this most important thing that we are to keep, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that we are to follow no matter what, Israel. Keep reading.
Beseeching God
Uh-huh.
that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation.
That we actually get that help from the Lord. You understand? Just like he did in what? In Egypt. You know what I'm saying? The Lord saved us out of Egypt. And he's praying right now for the Lord to help us again. Just like we in the ISUPK pray for the Lord to save blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians today. How we pray for him to send Christ and angels to save us again. You understand? That's what he's praying for right now, for God to be, for the Most High to be speedily and merciful unto the Israelites to save us.
That he is God.
That he save us and torment and them. That he them, that he will punish them, and then they will know that this was the Most High who did that to them. You understand? Just like the Egyptians, when they were going through their plague, that this was the Lord, freed by the Lord, that did that. They'll know again one. You know what I'm saying? Lord allow. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're working. Keep reading.
Verse 38. And that in me and my brethren, the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon all our nation, may cease.
Good night. The wisdom of this young man right here, you know what I'm saying? That me and my brethren, the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon us. Justly brought upon us. He knew that we're going through this punishment, that we're in this captivity because we messed up. We disobeyed the Lord. So we are rightly being punished. You understand? But he wants that to cease. He wants that to end. You understand? That's what he's praying the Lord for, that if we keep these laws, that, these brothers are the example of that, will stop this punishment. Keep going.
Verse 39. Then the king, being in a rage, handled him worse than all the rest.
Come on. The youngest, this 3-year-old boy, those brothers went through what they went through, and then this little man right here, to talk the ish that he's talking right there, you know what I'm saying? To look at him and to give him that speech of all that he read, that my brother just read right there. That's what that young man said, man, to this king. So yeah, you bet he was angered, like, oh my God, this. Oh, keep going.
And took it grievously.
Ooh, we took it grievously. You know what I'm saying? Very bad. The worst. Keep going.
That he was mocked.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 40. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord.
Ooh, so he was put to death, but he wasn't put through that torture. The king was just so angry that he just killed him. Boom. Right there. He ain't going.
Verse 41. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died.
The mother died too. She's put to death. Her whole family put to death. Keep reading.
Verse 42. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feast and the extreme
And of that wicked nation, the idolatrous feast, their customs, you know what I'm saying, and their extreme tortures, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they did. That's what they did to the nation of Israel, these heathens, put them through all that. You know what I'm saying? Have us break story right here, man. Remember this story when, when you're confronted with these things from the oppressor in the oppressor's world. Remember these stories like this, and find the courage to hold on to the Lord's law. You understand? That's what we come in here to the ISUPK for. We come in here to learn the Lord's law and how to keep it. You understand? Because we want what that young man was talking about, man. We want that everlasting life, and we want justice. You understand? We want punishment to come to the oppressor, man, for what they've done. You understand? And the only way that comes is by obeying the Lord's law. That's why the law class, again, that's why the law class is so important. You understand? We want that. We want that. We want the reward and the justice.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And any questions? Anything at all? If I ain't got the answer for it, I'll get above me and we'll get that answer for you. But if there ain't got any questions, you know what I'm saying, in the room, you understand? It's a law class, but you can ask whatever you would like, wish to ask. No matter, on topic, off topic. All right, well, no sweat. With that, I'll pass the class off to Trooper Trooper Hawan. I forget your name already. All right. Clap it up.
Security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana.
Mm-hmm.
New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, or he or she must get permission from the head to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a command. You can find this in Numbers 18 to 20 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'asra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for a priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, Feast of Purim, which is March 5th through March 6th. It's actually, it's actually gonna be held as a regular class. So yeah, it's gonna be a regular class, so it's not a feast technically.
That's right.
Remind, I want them to check on social media, ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that,